The forest is a scary place. It can be a very, very scary place indeed. Life and having to relate to people is also very scary. As a person who lacks an education, I don't have the answers, but as a human being, I have made some observations. To me, fear is real only if you understand the consequences of that which you fear, and you understand the consequences from knowledge and from your own experiences. For example, a child boarding an airplane has no knowledge or experience of the possibility that that plane could crash. So, there is no fear on the child's part. Without the knowledge and or experiences of any situation of life and the processing of living, there is no fear. And in addition to that knowledge and experience must be the potential for application. For example, using the airplane analogy, an adult may well understand fully the consequences of airplane crashing, but that adult boards anyway because they apply knowledge of such a potential and come to the conclusion that even though it could happen, statistics suggest that it will not happen today. Another example, you may have the knowledge and fear of freezing in the Arctic, but if you have no intention of being there, that fear is really null and void. That fear is not real. You may have the experience of being burnt, for example, and it serves you well, but that fear is not crippling because you apply your knowledge and you exercise caution, but not to the point where you're never around heat or a stove. But for many, fear is real. Fear is crippling. Fear dominates their lives and how they approach others. For many women, men too, fear dictates their response to other people. The fearful person becomes unapproachable because each person who approaches is seen as the enemy, one whose purpose for contact is to hurt. Therefore, each person who approaches is repelled. If fear prevents one from being approached, then friendship can never be developed. And without friendship, the possibility of intimacy is diminished. Without intimacy, of course, which is the sincere sharing with another human being, loneliness ensues. It is said that to know if a pear is sweet, one has to taste the pear. Unfortunately for many, the fear of tasting that pear causes them to never know. Most of life's answers are very simple. It all boils down to two things. Asking the precise question, and then, when you get the answer, and you always do, choosing to do what is needed. That is, continuing to embrace the security of fear, or actually enjoying the benefits and fruits of being alive, of being happy. But to continue, we get answers through signs, symbols, or through people. And the answers are never ambiguous. For us, those who risk rejection and ridicule as the messenger and presses on into a fearful person's life, we do so with the knowledge that a real relationship can never happen until the cycle of fear is broken. We press on anyway because we too have had our share of fear and working with fear. We know that somewhere along the line there will be a breakthrough and your presence will no longer be valuable or even needed for that matter, and that will be progress. After all, it's an education for both the giver and the receiver. It is always about learning. The fear of losing a friend, so to speak, is tempered by the knowledge that the process was sincere and true. That fear is suspended with the knowledge that even though you're no longer in that person's life, physically, you'll be thought of from time to time as someone who was there. After all, there are also times when even the messenger will not understand a message because, quite frankly, the message was never meant for him or her, but for the receiver. Nevertheless, the words of "I am here" during the times when fear suggested otherwise will always ring true. People separate all the time. It's a part of growth. The important thing is that they separate with love, and that, my friend, will overcome fear. Because, to me, in the end, the bottom line is very simple. We simply choose to substitute fear for that other four-letter word, love. Love conquers everything. At least that is what I believe.